My friend Rob Keens of Gold Silver Pros that I talked to about Bluestone earlier today, he had the quote of every project the Lundin family touches turns to gold. Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics. And today we have a video highlighting a gold project that has some interesting dynamics that I thought you might like to be aware of. So fortunately, Jack Lundin of Bluestone Resources joining us on the show and going to give an overview of really the risk profile, the key determinants, what you guys are up to, and why investors would be well served to know about that. So, Jack, pleasure to have you on here today. Thanks for making some time. And how are you, my friend?
Thanks a lot, Chris. It's great to be online with you today. Doing pretty well. Just working out of the office, which is kind of rare. We've mainly been working from home during these COVID times, but we still have the work from home policy in place. But every now and then, it's just good to get into the office and try and do a little bit of work from here rather than from the home office. So doing well.
Yeah, I can imagine it does feel good just to get some semblance of normalcy back and, hopefully the world returning to that sooner or later. Perhaps you could give us an overview and we can dig in a little bit what it's been like running the company during these times, but just the key things that investors should know about, what you have, what you've been out doing, and the key determinants going forward.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm the CEO of Bluestone Resources, which is a company that has a asset or a single asset company, and our flagship project is in southern Guatemala. It's called Cerro Blanco, and what it is, it's a high grade underground deposit in pre-development phase right now. And so I joined the company in January of this year, and we've really been trying to advance with the optimization and trade-off studies and really kind of develop the plan for execution, the plan for development. So we have a feasibility study that was released in January 2019. The economics that were generated from that feasibility study were very robust, and that's why we're kind of going full steam ahead on this project and really trying to get everything lined up so that we can get into the development phase towards the end of this year. What's unique about Cerro Blanco is the previous owner, Gold Corp, had sunk a significant amount of capital into the project and already developed over 3 kilometers laterally and 3.5 kilometers when you include vertical raises and shafts. So we've got a very good head start. Because of the size of this deposit, it's a short construction timeline. And therefore, we're right now just making sure we're ramping up with personnel, getting the resources we need to obtain the permits we need, and kind of develop that plan and include, of course, COVID-19 within it. Yep. And how we're going to kind of manage mobilizing and moving people to and from site. But, all of that's in the works right now. And hopefully by the end of this year, we'll be able to kick off with construction. In parallel to all of that, we've got our financing package that we're putting together, and so we were able to raise some equity in April, and now we're looking for that debt component, and we've been in advanced discussions with a group of lenders, and so that's going very well.
Yeah, it sounds like an exciting time, especially with the environment that we're seeing in the markets right now, and also it sounds like you're right in that pre-production sweet spot, which had a couple analysts on the show like Lewis James and Jeff Clark talk about how often a large percentage of the gains is right before you get to production. So an interesting time for people to be getting involved, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, what we're really trying to do is get this project into the development phase and then ultimately into operations. And so right now we've got about an 8-year mine life. We're drilling the deposit out as we speak, and we'll be updating the resource model towards the end of the year, but pretty confident that we'll be able to increase that mine life and hopefully also kind of increase the mining rate, which means the first 3 years right now are, what's contemplated in the feasibility study is around 150,000 ounces of gold a year. Yeah. And so we want to kind of maintain that plateau or get, the first years higher than 150,000 ounces. So we're optimizing our mine plan and really we'll be looking once we're deeper underground to kind of increase the throughput if possible. But the investment opportunity is we're pre-development, but once we get into development, it's a short construction timeline, and then we get into operations. And when you're in operations, you tend to get re-rated instead of looking at looked at in the market as a junior developer, junior producer. You're matched against a different set of peers, and usually those peers are graded at a better multiple than a developer. And so that's the investment opportunity. You get in now, you follow the story for a couple of years, and hopefully on the back end of 2022, we're in operations, and we're looking at maximizing the value of the operation from there.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned before in one of your talks at the Metals Forum that you have mining permits in place and also one of the lowest operating costs for a gold project like that.
That's right. So we do have a mining permit, and we have the capability of continuing to advance the declines. We are drilling out the deposit as well, and so that's very favorable for us. We're seeking out our construction permit, which is well advanced, and so we're confident that we'll get that when we need to prior to mobilizing this site. And really, once we get that, it's just making sure that our execution plan is sound. It includes health and safety protocols that are based off of COVID-19, and making sure that we can, mitigate the risk of the virus becoming an outbreak on site, and just really kind of planning for that. So, I mean, that's kind of a unique element that everybody's facing right now. I think there were about 340, 350 mines that were shut down over the pandemic period, and now they're trying to ramp back up, and that's another kind of opportunity. The supply side has been hit, and so when you look at the price of gold, just a year ago it was $1,400 an ounce, and today it's creeping up on $1,800 an ounce. And I personally think it has room to climb higher when you look at what's happening with all of the money printing and the bailouts that are happening between the Federal Reserve and other central governments around the world. So, this is a good position for us to be in terms of needing to advance a project and acquire funding.
It seems like beyond the ideal environment, I mean, better than ideal. One other thing I know you've talked quite a bit about is it's important to your company to be doing things in an environmentally sustainable way, which I know a lot of investors also like to see in their projects. And if you could touch on that a bit.
For sure. So, I mean, the Lundin Group, one of our pillars in advancing any business in any industry is that we want to make sure we're doing it in an environmentally friendly way. ESG is a pillar for our business, and we work closely with a nonprofit organization that we established called the Lundin Foundation back in 2006. And so this is kind of a group of experienced individuals that come in and help alongside the companies within the Lundin Group to really establish a strong social presence. And for us at Bluestone and at Cerro Blanco, Goldcorp did a very good job socializing the project, and so we have a really strong community engagement and relationship with the local communities. But also I've been able to meet with several government officials up in Guatemala City, and so the relationship that we're establishing and growing there is really good, and so we'll be continuing to grow that partnership going forward. And again, environmental, social, governance side of things, all of that is really a pillar for us. And so we do not try and advance the technical side without having the social side really under control as well. And we'll continue to do that, for Cerro Blanco and every other project that comes our way after this.
Yeah, I know that's an important one, especially a lot of investors. One of the things is on their mind is what is the jurisdictional risk in Guatemala? You touched on it a little bit. Just anything else you'd like to say to investors who have that question going through their head?
Well, it's like any project anywhere in the world, depending on where you're located and if you're close to a town or if you're close to a village or close to a place that, you know, people may have a negative sentiment towards mining or people may not want this type of development to come into their region. However, Cerro Blanco, we've done a lot of work. Goldcorp, as I said, has done a lot of work. The local community there. There's a town of about 20,000 people. The town is called Asuncion Mita, and they are very keen to see this project advance because, you know, we've been working hard to educate them on what it means to be able to develop a mine and what the positive benefits are. Of course, there's risks associated with it, but if we work with the communities to mitigate those risks and we focus on training and local hiring and local procurement and establishing kind of businesses around the project that can be long lasting. And, you know, we talk about sustainability. We want things to be developed there that can last much longer than the life of the mine. And that's where kind of the Lundin Foundation comes in. And so in the area of Cerro Blanco, we've got great engagement. Now, when you look at Guatemala, you know, on a broader scale in different regions in Guatemala, yes, there's been projects that have come up against, you know, some adversity because the way in which the projects may have been socialized or where those projects are located may have rubbed the citizens the wrong way, and you know, there's issues that arise. But you see that not only in Guatemala, you see that in every country in the world. And
Yep.
so
Yep.
it's really how you approach from the onset. And of course, you know, there's going to be challenges coming our way, and we just want to make sure that we remain as transparent as possible so that we can work through them, right? No company is perfect, but if you're working to you know, mitigate those problems and you're engaging the community and the local stakeholders, then you can just hope that you know, you'll get through it together.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And especially one of the things that, especially in the mining industry, perhaps every industry, but having people who have experience doing something. And fortunately, the credentials that you mentioned supporting the project, here's Rick Rule consistently saying Lucas Lundin is one of the best, calling him serially successful. And my friend Rob Keens of Gold Silver Pros that I talked to about Bluestone earlier today, he had the quote of every project the Lundin family touches turns to gold. So obviously it's great that you guys have the experience, a successful track record. People in the industry know who you are. They know your background. They know what you're doing. And just maybe you could discuss how you're able to apply that to some of these challenges that come up in a project.
Yeah, well, you know, that reputation was not established by luck. I mean, there was a lot of hard work that has gone into the business and growing the Lundin Group and the brand. And you know, I'm third generation, so over 40 years ago, my grandfather established the Lundin Group of companies, and really my uncle and my father Lucas brought it to the next level. And so me and my brothers and my cousins were working to bring it to the next level. And you know, the way in which we do that is by working with the team that's been in place for many years, and looking for kind of new like-minded people to join the business and grow with us and try and kind of realize more success together. And so we do rely on each other a lot, you know, not just the family, but the CEOs and the leaders of the other companies. We really try and keep this as collaborative as possible. But at the same time, you know, we're entrepreneurs and we like having smaller companies that can kind of run on their own agenda in order to achieve success, because every project is different. Every company is operating in a different location. And so you have to be able to have that kind of autonomy to drive forward. But you know, a key to our success is that we, you know, I'm able to pick up the phone and call somebody like
Right.
Ron Hochstein at, you know, at any time. We've got a, you know, great working relationship. I worked under him at Fruta del Norte, you know, with Lundin Gold. And then, you know, me and my brothers, we work closely together. And I think that's one of the keys to success, you know, trying to make sure that you keep an open forum to hear ideas and try and come up with new plans and find new projects and really just grow the business like that. So yeah, that's it's not a very complicated formula, but we've been sticking with it for my entire life, and so we're going to continue to do that.
Simple formula. Maybe the challenge is having those resources that you do. So, Jack, I appreciate you sharing that. And perhaps just in wrapping up, you can let folks know if they have questions, if they want to find out more, how they can do that.
Certainly. So, I mean, of course, you can just go to our website, bluestoneresources.ca. But also, I mean, if you have any questions, you can contact our investor relations VP, which is Stephen Williams. And I'm always open to have discussions with anybody that wants to know the Bluestone story more. And potential investors are always welcome to call in and get an update, or corporate presentation is also online. You can flip through that. And if you have any further questions, we'd love to follow up with you on them. So that's it.
Well, I appreciate that. That will all be in the link in the description below. Thanks again for making some time today, Jack. It's impressive what you've done, and it'll be exciting to follow your success going forward.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.